The Oscar goes to One Battle After Another.
Nominated for 13 Academy Awards, One Battle After Another won 6 Oscars tonight for casting, actor in a supporting role, adapted screenplay, film editing, directing, and Best Picture.
After a dominant awards season, One Battle After Another comes away with 6 total Oscars, while Sinners doesn't fall too far behind with 4 Academy Award wins. What a night for these two films. We're going to get into it. A lot more to talk about on today's episode of the Real Table Podcast. We're talking the Oscars. Let's get it.
Welcome to the table. You are now listening to the Real Table Podcast with Michael Carter.
One Battle After Another. It's been the leading force all of awards season. Came away with six strong wins. One of them being Best Picture, which is a huge accomplishment. Obviously, coming into awards season, there was a lot of question marks about what was going to happen between One Battle After Another and Sinners. And One Battle kind of already had just a head start on Sinners and was just knocking out every precursor and just making some noise along the way, with Tiana Taylor being one of the people to make some noise, and then Paul Thomas Anderson just racking away those precursors. And now here at the biggest ceremony, One Battle After Another lands 6 Oscars, which I think is huge. For a movie that is very, very controversial, I think this is huge. I was the one person that enjoyed One Battle After Another. I enjoyed what the story had to offer, though I do understand some of the criticism towards the film, some of the criticism towards Tiana Taylor's character. Overall, I really did enjoy the film from top to bottom. I was locked in from the jump. A lengthy film, but I thought it was really, really, really good. Sinners, on the other hand, comes away with 4 wins, which is huge. With a record-breaking nomination record, Sinners comes away with 4 wins, and for some people it might not seem a lot, but like 4 wins is a strong win for a film like this. I think I did expect Sinners to maybe not get as many as One Battle After Another, so 4 kind of tracks, but I also was scared because I know sometimes, speaking from a perspective of being just a Black person and seeing how Black actors and actresses and directors and just filmmakers are just treated when it comes to the Oscars. It's like, okay, will they win these awards? Are they going to get these awards? Will they not get these awards? And I think Sinners, with a nice, strong haul for last night's Oscars, was great, and I'm happy for it, and I'm excited for it, and it felt like it was just, for me personally, I'm a big Sinners guy, and I know reading online, there are people that didn't like Sinners, and there's people that did like Sinners, and people that didn't like One Battle After Another. It was just this constant battle, which ultimately comes to an end, and One Battle After Another comes out pretty strong as probably the best film to be awarded. It was the film to be awarded during this year's awards circuit. Let's get into a little bit of the ceremony. Let's talk about how the ceremony. Overall, the ceremony was okay. I think it dragged them different parts. There was just different segments that just felt like we were trying too hard. I'm realizing, like, no offense to Conan O'Brien, he's not my cup of tea. He's not somebody that I'm like, you are funny, you are hilarious, I'm here and I'm locked. There are many times where I'm like, oof, these jokes didn't land with me. And it felt like that as I was listening to the ceremony. Like, people weren't as into some of these jokes that he was making, which is super fascinating because this is his second time around. So it'll be interesting to see if Conan gets another go around. But the memoriam was a beautiful tribute. It felt long, which is unfortunate because it was just so beautiful how they honored Rob Reiner. They even talked about Catherine O'Hara, shoot, Robert Redford, I think, was one of the people. There's some other names too that they kind of specifically really talked about and dig deep on in the memoriam. But overall, it was still a really, really beautiful tribute um, for the memoriam. They didn't. Sometimes in the past, and for a lot of these award shows, they overthink what this thing has to be, what it has. How do you honor these people that have died and that have passed along? And it changes up every year. This year, it felt like they kept it more simple. I think the only downfall and the flaw of it felt too long. It felt like it could have been shorter. But it was still a very, very beautiful tribute. Billy Crystal talking about Rob Reiner was really cool. Rachel McAdams talking about Catherine O'Hara. And then Barbara Streisand talking about Robert Redford. So it was, and Barbara even saying to close out the memorial. So it was very, very cool to see that. To see it felt new. Didn't feel like it was the same old memoriam. And I think this past year, just losing a lot of significant names too, they kind of made space for those names, which I loved. But yeah, ceremony itself was okay. Sinners, I Lied to You, Miles Canton, Raphael Sadiq, and many, many more people were in that performance that felt like they were taking us right back into the film in that iconic moment where all the genres meshed. Let me just say, I think that moment alone made me go, oof. I wonder if some of the Academy is sitting here going, man, we should have nominated, not nominated, we should have picked this to win. Because Golden ultimately wins, which is not surprising. But I think we're gonna look back years from now, and I think what's clear, and I've been vocal about this on Twitter, but like haven't said this about it this much on this podcast. But Sinners is going to be generational. That's just somewhat of it. Some of it is my opinion, but you can just look at it right now. I think last night was indicative of that. It was clear that people love Sinners. Sinners is going to be generational. The way the audience was cheering for every time Sinners popped up, the audience was locked in. And I'd even go as far as to say, if Sinners had won Best Picture, I think that alone, I think, even though I like One Battle After Another, you can make a case for both films, but like my pick would have been Sinners, and I go, if Sinners had won Best Picture, dude, that room alone and just culturally and what it means for film and miles. I mean, miles from what One Battle After Another will do in terms of just impact. But man, you could just feel it. Like even during that performance, I read a tweet and somebody's like, they kept performing a little bit after or when the ceremony went to commercial, they still kept performing even after the telecast was on commercial, and people were jamming to it and they were into it. Guys, a missed opportunity. K-pop Demon Hunters, loved that movie. I thought it was great. I thought it was a really good movie. I think it's a missed opportunity in some areas for Sinners to get awarded, and part of it is a bias because I like Sinners, and Sinners is my favorite of the year and favorite of all the films. But I think there's still the impact and cultural impact, not just for the industry and even for the Academy, like the impact there. If Sinners had landed Best Picture, and I even go, if Ryan had landed 2 Oscars last night, dude, it would have been incredible. But that didn't happen. 4 awards, I'll take it. Let's talk about the awards that mattered, right? And this is not, I don't want to say none of the awards mattered, but let's talk about the big dubs, like the big ones, like the ones that are just like, this one hit. I think being awarded an Oscar is an honor in itself, and whoever wins, like that is probably one of the greatest honors One of the greatest honors you can have. It's like if you played in the NFL and you won a Super Bowl, one of the greatest honors you can have in all of sports. Same with basketball, winning the NBA Finals or winning a gold medal. Like all of that is parallel to what it for movies, what the Oscar is for movies. Also on the telecast, rushing people off the stage. I feel like every now and then, and maybe every year, there's somewhat of an issue with us or with the Academy pushing people off the stage, getting that music playing to keep the show moving. And I think that's highly disrespectful. It is so disrespectful to those people. And what's unfortunate is that it happened to people of color. I'm not going to call that card and people go, oh, you're being... Look back. People of color were on stage and trying to read their speech and to have their moment, and you're ushering it along, and it feels like this became a shoo away. And I did not like that. Was not a fan of that at all. Let's get into it. Best international film, Sentimental Value. Very surprised by Sentimental Value winning that. I don't want to butcher his name, but Joaquin Trier from Norway. Sentimental Value. I'm surprised because I heard a lot of buzz about the Secret Agent, and what that film was doing, and you know, Wagner Moura being nominated for Best Actor. Hearing his performance is exceptional. Some people saying it's better than any of the performances that were nominated. This one was a surprise, but yet I know that there was an audience of people that love Sentimental Value. So Sentimental Value coming for Best International was kind of cool to see. I loved that one. I love seeing that. I need to watch the movie. I've heard it's fantastic. I need to check that out. Best Supporting Actress. This was a weird race. This one was it was so interesting. It feels like it was mostly a Tiana Taylor show, all award circuit. Amy Madigan comes in and wins. Oof. Where she went? I want to say Amy Madigan won SAG. Let me make sure. I think she won SAG. Yeah, she won SAG. Okay, I thought so. Because it was Tiana's show for a lot of the award circuit, and then Amy Madigan wins, and then on top of that, Wumi Musaka, she gets that Oscar nomination that a lot of people didn't see happening, for Sinners, and so it becomes this thing where it's like, oh, okay, who's gonna win this? A lot of people were thinking, a lot of industry experts were thinking Amy Madigan for Weapons. And that was indeed so. Amy Madigan wins for Weapons, which wasn't too mad about this one. I thought Amy Madigan was very good in Weapons. Again, I think I leaned on I want a Tiana Taylor, Wunmi Masaka, to capture this role. I mean, to capture this nod and get this win. But that wasn't the case. Amy Madigan for Weapons. I don't hate that. I think she did a really good job. And it is one of those things where, for a role like this in a horror film, you don't see this get nods very often. I still stand on the ground of, for us, oh, good Lord, I cannot think of her name. Lupita. I felt like Lupita should have won for, not even won, she should have been nominated for us for Best Actress. I thought Lupita was incredible. But I think there's a weird perception about horror films and what the Academy thinks about horror films, and horror films don't get nominated. Again, this year being that pivotal shift where we see Sinners, landmark nominations, while Weapons also gets that nomination, that lone nomination for Amy Madigan, which is awesome. Best Cinematography. Big surprise because it's the first Black woman ever. And first female ever to win this award for Sinners, Autumn Arkapaw. I don't want to mispronounce her name. Autumn Arkapaw. Exceptional. A lot of people were thinking one battle after another for this. A lot of people were trending that way. But we saw one battle after another get. I don't see it in my notes. I meant to put it in my notes, but we saw one battle after another get best casting, which was a new category this year, which awesome to see that being the category. But a lot of people thought Sinners was going to take best casting, and they didn't. And it feels like this became a trade-off where Autumn Arkapaw gets this nomination for best cinematography, and this is incredible, an awesome win. And at this point in the night, I was worried about Sinners getting anything else. I won't say huge, but just landing more things. And to see this nomination, and to see this win, brought joy to my heart. I loved every bit about it. Best actress, Jessie Buckley. We knew this coming in. Everybody could have saw this a mile away. Jessie Buckley was always the front runner for best actress. Did not miss at any precursor. She killed it along the whole way. Strong campaign. I love Jessie Buckley. I think she's fantastic in Hamnet. And she also seems like a fantastic person. A beautiful, beautiful speech. Also, beautiful speech by Autumn for Sinners. She asked and invited every female in the room to stand up and kind of dedicated that award to all the female creatives in the room. And I thought that was amazing. I thought it was so beautiful. And just the humility and the respect and the honor to go to think of herself and go, this award is for every female, because we all know that women have it harder in the industry. It's just a fact. And black women, for that fact, black women have it even harder than a white woman, right? And then think about other women of color too that also have it hard. So to see that in her speech was fantastic. But also, yes, Jessie Buckley gave a wonderful speech. K-pop Demon Hunters, no surprise, winning best animated film. I do think the Academy, because K-pop Demon Hunters is good. I think the industry needs to treat animated films a little bit more better. I think we need to be a little bit harder on our critiquing, because I feel like this category just feels like a shoe away, just a throwaway. I feel like they just we're gonna check off the box for what might be the most popular film of the year, right? Which to an extent we could argue Zootopia was, right? So it is very interesting just to see every year what the Academy deems as worthy of a win for a best animated picture, even though K-pop Demon Hunters I think is definitely worth the win. Also winning best song, which I think I Lied to You should have won, and I think that's indicative of that performance. K-pop Demon Hunters, the actresses behind the voices did get to sing Golden, which was a fine performance, nothing crazy, but again, I think I Lied to You being what it was, the value, the aura of that whole performance. I think the Academy, some of the people in the Academy go, oh, we probably should have nominated this song. Yep. Best score, Sinners, Ludwig Göransson. No surprise. Ludwig is on a roll. I think everything he touches is turning into magic. He has a bright future as a composer. We know with John Williams not really doing a whole lot anymore. We still have Hans Zimmer. We still have a lot of greats out there. Alan Silvestri is still there. There's many more. But Ludwig, man, and this year, The Odyssey, Chris Nolan, The Odyssey, he's scoring that. Watch out for him to come right back around to capture another Oscar. I think that would be his third or fourth. I think, can't remember. No surprise there. Michael B. Jordan. Michael B. Jordan.
And the Oscar goes to Michael B. Jordan.
This is the first Oscar win and nomination for Michael B. Jordan.
Because of the people that came before me, Sidney Poitier, Denzel Washington, Halle Berry, Jamie Foxx, Forrest Whitaker, Will Smith, and to be amongst those giants, amongst those greats, amongst my ancestors, amongst my guys. Thank you, everybody in this room and everybody at home for supporting me over my career. I feel it. I know you guys want me to do well, and I want to do that because you guys bet on me. So thank you for keeping.
Sixth black man ever to win Best Actor. I love everything about this. It was a moment I almost wanted to cry. I was so happy. Most of the award season, nobody was sniffing or looking Michael B. Jordan's way. It was mostly a Timothée Chalamet show. That started to pivot at BAFTA when Timothy missed at BAFTA. And then that really shifted when Michael won SAG, right? When his peers specifically voted him. And that's kind of when I think everybody was like, hold on a second, right? Michael wins the SAG, right? We've seen this. SAG is huge. SAG is a big indicator on where we're going and what could happen. Michael hasn't done much this award season, but he wins SAG. Okay, right? People online, Timothy's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. He's going to be voted, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Whole fiasco. We'll get into that. We'll get into that quite soon. But a whole fiasco. But nonetheless, a lot of the vibes were right, leaning towards Michael B. Jordan winning. And I think it's fantastic. And I think, again, it's one of those awards where it's like, we know Michael has worked hard. No matter, again, I don't care who feels what about Michael B. Jordan, but I'm a big Michael B. Jordan guy. And I think he's worked hard and he's paid his time. I'd argue he probably even could have been nominated for Fruitvale Station. He could have been nominated for Creed, the first one, right? So to see this win, joy to my soul. Also, what's also not in here, Ryan Coogler for Best Adapted Screenplay. Ryan Coogler is now an Academy Award winning writer, right? He's now an Academy Award winning writer, and I love that for Ryan Coogler. And it's amazing, and it's a beautiful full circle. Ryan Coogler is right now. Chris Nolan's probably higher, but I go on record to say right now, Ryan Coogler is the hottest name in Hollywood right now. He's the hottest name in Hollywood. Yeah, I think if you're in a studio, you want to get Ryan in your studio to make a project. Now, Ryan has things lined up. We'll talk about that later, but you want to get Ryan. He's the hottest name. Him, Coogler, I think are the two hottest names right now. Two hottest names in filmmaking. I love it. Nolan and Coogler. Are two hottest names. Love it. Love that for Ryan Coogler. Congrats, Ryan Coogler. Michael B. Jordan. Congrats to all the winners. Let me just say that. Congrats to all the winners. Now, some surprises. Sinners wins 16 nominations. You can make an argument that it's robbery. 16 nominations, 4 wins, no Best Picture. Is that robbery or the Academy being the Academy? I have some questions here. I don't think it's robbery. I don't know. I think it's a tough question again because when you watch the telecast, and some people might not go back and watch the telecast, and that's okay. I'm telling you, the vibes were strong for Sinners. When I Lied to You was performed, when every time Sinners was mentioned, the vibes were higher than any other film in that room. Period. There's no debating this and that. It's overrated. You think what you want to think. What's true is that the vibes were so high for Sinners. And I do think it was a missed opportunity for the Academy to kind of give it that extra nudge, right? I think Michael B. Jordan landing that win, and Ryan Coogler landing that win, and Autumn landing that win. I think that alone are huge carriers to make the night seem more worth it, right? But to not get that Best Picture, I think that could have been a big shift for the Academy and how the Academy thinks. I still think even coming out tonight, after last night, I should say, I still think the Academy is mentally how they perceive things might just be a little different. I don't think 5 years ago we would have seen a film like this get as much respect. I think there might be a shift. There might be a shift. Obviously, 16 nominations, you only come away with 4. 4 is a blessing. And if you ask Ryan Coogler, I bet he'd say it's a blessing. I bet they all would say it's a blessing. And everybody wants to go in there and everybody wants to win. But I think there is a missed opportunity where I go, best picture would have been triumphant. And I think that place would have lost it. I don't want to talk about any of that. Let's get into Timothée Chalamet. Timmy. Marty Supreme, a no-show at the Oscars. 0. I'm going to say it again. 0. A no-show at the Oscars. 0 wins. Now, again, if you ask me in January, I would say everybody's riding high on Marty Supreme. I think what's evident is that the industry was not high on Marty Supreme. I think there's a combination of different layers. A lot of people, again, I keep seeing a lot of people that don't follow this space, and they're blaming it on comments. They're blaming it on comments that Timothy made about ballet and opera, which I'm not gonna say because it's not that big in my opinion. I go, poor taste, shouldn't have said it, but no need to really repeat it. So even then, I think a lot of people are focusing on that when in hindsight, people don't realize voting was kind of closed at that point. The clip really blew up after voting was closed. This happened. I think SAG might have been BAFTA and SAG were the turning points for Timothy. Again, you can tell a lot about what the industry thinks about things when certain things are awarded. Now, I won't hinge everything on BAFTA. I'm not going to hinge everything on BAFTA. But I think SAG was super telling. SAG was super telling that the people looked at Timothy and was like, respect, but Michael. But Timothy's doing this. He's promoting the movie all kinds of ways. He's in that rap song, cutting his hair, buzz cut, Marty Supreme jackets in New York, like the big old ping pong ball. Like they are promoting the heck out of this movie, and the promotion is kind of bonkers, right? No, we like Michael B. Jordan, right? And I think for people to understand, people are like, oh, Timothy was the best. He should have won. No matter what you think in perspective-wise, like I'll go on record and I say it all the time. I think Mikey Madison should have never won for Nora. I don't think she was that good in Nora. I think there were better people that probably could have won that award. Didn't even finish Nora. I didn't think Nora was great at all. And for the record, one battle after another for whatever criticism people want to give it, one battle after another clears a Nora all day. I'd watch 2 hours and 40 minutes of that than watching whatever a Nora was. Anyways, I don't think Mikey Madison should have won, but here's the thing. It's all about what the body and what the Academy thinks, how they feel when it comes to promotion, when it comes to campaigning for your film, and are you likable? I think right now Timothée Chalamet is not likable for the industry. You heard it when his name was called as they were reading the Best Actor nomination names. You heard it. Nobody was really feeling him. Nobody was feeling him. Everybody was feeling everybody else, every other male but Timothy. And that tells you a lot. And I think right now, if you're Timothée Chalamet, he has to go back, take a step back, breathe. First off, breathe. And Buddy has to lock in because Dune 3 is out in December. And a lot of people right now are going, he's going to come back for Dune 3. He's going to come back from Dune 3. And I go, pause. The Academy just told us what they thought about Timothy. He was riding high on Marty Supreme, right? Now there's other layers to Marty Supreme. Some stuff about Safdie came out. I'm not talking about it on here. Some stuff, discussing stuff. And that also probably played a role into it. There's layers to it. I think there's high layers into why Timothy didn't get it. Too young is what some of the quotes that we heard. Again, the way the movie was being promoted, the way A24 promoted the movie at the end of the day. Whole other conversations, but I think Timothy has to lock in. And people are like, one day he will win it, and he will. He will win it one day. But I think this is important. Dune 3 is important for him. It's important for him to go, how I promote this movie, how I move with the production and with the promotion of this movie is critical. It is critical that he redefines how people feel about him. And some people go, it doesn't matter. It's not about awards. It's not about this. That's true. But we all know that Timothée Chalamet wants to win an Oscar. That is clear, right? And I think any hotshot actor wants to win an Oscar. You can ask Michael. Michael wanted to win an Oscar. You kidding me? Michael wanted to win an Oscar. Leo probably wanted to win an Oscar again last night, right? So Timothy has to move differently, like differently. And it starts right before I started filming on this. The first look at Dune 3, a first image of Dune 3 dropped, right? It's time. And I think he knows he has to go back, and his team, they know you have to rework your image, because right now the Academy and even the industry just shut you out, right? Which some people are going, Marty Supreme is great, and he is great in Marty Supreme. But the Academy and all the industry really kind of shut him out at the end of the day. He was riding so high, and I want to say I never saw this before, but this was an all-time crash out and burnout and blow up destruction type thing that we saw from his campaign. That's clear. Those are the facts. He needs to reinvent himself with Dune 3. If he is great in Dune 3, Timothée Chalamet has to lock in and move completely different with your promotion. To move completely different with your campaigning. The industry has to know. Now, again, he could do all that and still not win. That's the reality of it. That's the reality of it. That's the weird politics of, the awards season. It's the weird politics. It's how it happens. But homie has to lock in differently, and he has to move differently, or he might end up not getting another nomination this year. So it'll be interesting to see overall how he moves differently. I'm really curious to see how he moves differently, because if Dune Part 3 is great and he's fantastic and even better in Dune Part 3, he owes it to himself to go, I'm going to work really hard on this campaign, not overdo it. Be Timothée Chalamet. Be that kid that everybody was about before this Marty Supreme stuff, in my opinion. Be about it. Be about that kid. Be that kid. Be that dude. And if he doesn't, I think he's going to be shut out again. That's the facts. And coming up, Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise is in the movie. Tom Cruise is predicted, right? Matt Damon is predicted. Matt Damon's in the Aussie. Like, there's some big name actors that people are already going, these guys are already going to get looks. Timothy owes it to himself to lock in right now and go, how do I move so I don't let what happened happen again, right? That's what it's about. And now, and for me, most of that is not even just opinion. It's kind of facts, because there's a reason. There are clear layers and many layers on why he didn't win. And I think personality, it has to start there. Make the Academy, make people love you again. Make people go, this is the kid that we fell for. This is the kid that we kept saying is the chosen one. He's the next best thing. We know he's a movie star, right? I think we know he's a movie star. Marty Supreme was huge for A24. A24's biggest film, and still for award season crapped out. Again, layers to why that happened. But Timothy has to move differently if he wants to win anytime soon. He has to move differently, and my guess is that he will, because, like, come on, the writing's on the wall. All time crash out. It's not like it was down to the wire. It was like, no. I think SAG was a really big shifting point onto how people viewed that. And Michael B. Jordan gave a fantastic speech, guys. A fantastic speech. That's what the Academy looks for, those types of moments. They don't want to see you in an interview being cocky and being like, oh, no. They want to see you. You got to be likable. You got to do the dance. If you don't do the dance, you're not going to win. And that's that. Period. What's next? Mostly for Coogler. Coogler's got that X-Files reboot coming his way. coming our way, which is really, really excited. It should be really, really scary. Coogler's a big X-Files guy. And if I'm not mistaken, they've already casted somebody. Is it Daniel Detweiler? Yep, Daniel Detweiler. Already cast it, and so it'll be interesting to see how that rounds out. Coogler's got that on the docket. I'm excited for him. Coogler should have a blank check to do anything. Black Panther 3 is already being developed too. I felt like Kevin Feige has always given, since the first Black Panther, Kevin Feige has given Coogler the space to be that guy and to create how he wants to create. And I think Black Panther 3 should be no different, and will be no different because, again, Marvel's got Academy Award-winning screenplay writer, Ryan Coogler. Like, come on, that name alone. Denzel's supposed to be in that film, and I'm sure a lot of returnees from the previous films will be in that one. I also think I want more original films for Ryan. I'm curious to see what else he can do and he can whip up. But I'm also a nerd, and I want to see Ryan Coogler either tackle Batman or Blade. If he does not direct Blade, I think Ryan Coogler 100% should be executive producing Blade. He can be a figure, and he can be a person to move that along, right? We heard Monkey Paw, which is Jordan Peele's production company, might be involved. Rumor has it. And if that's true, if you link Monkey Paw up with Ryan Coogler, maybe that could be something special, right? I want that. Maybe other people want that. Michael B. Jordan, what's next? Thomas Crown Affair. He's the leading man in this remake, and he's also directing it. It's his directing debut. So coming off the Best Picture, it's going to be so interesting to see what he does with Thomas Crown Affair. Again, a remake film that I'm really intrigued for. And it says Black Panther 3. I don't know. That's going to be Black Panther 3. We'll see. Because again, he returned to number 2, so he could return to number 3. Killmonger. I don't know. We'll see. There's a lot in that Marvel world that needs to pan out before we know exactly what kind of movie Black Panther 3 will be. So those two have things. Oh yeah, Miami Vice reboot, a film with Austin Butler and I think Michael Mann. Michael B. Jordan's supposed to be rumored to be in that. That will be interesting to see if that comes into fruition. I think he would be fantastic. Yeah, Oscar winner Miami Vice reboot casting reports. Yeah, people are reporting that he will be in it, and I think it'll be him and Austin Butler, and I think Michael Mann is to be directing it. No, excuse me, Joseph Kosinski is attached to direct that. Holy cow! Guys. Joseph Kosinski with Michael B. Jordan and Austin Butler. Ooh, don't get me started. I'm telling y'all, don't get me started. That sounds incredible. So we'll see what's left on that. Timothée Chalamet, obviously, Dune 3. Dune 3. We'll see what Dune 3 is. By the time this is live, I think the trailer might be out for Dune 3, which I cannot wait to talk about and discuss. But yeah, Timothy's got to move a little bit differently. I think he will. He most definitely should. And so that should be fascinating to see. Other than that, I'm glad this award season was over. Online gets really toxic at times, and it makes it not fun to be online. I like to pick a couple people and a few people to interact with, because overall, you just have so many opinions and biases, which are fair because that's what it is. But some of it turns into turns into a toxic space, and it becomes not fun. And people are just the discourses are annoying, and I think it just happens every year for certain films. So it'll be interesting to see what this year will look like for award season. Let's do it way too early. Because there are a few films out there that are kind of like, you always got to do it. There's always a way too early thing, because I think it's kind of annoying. You kind of got to wait and let this award season breathe, let people have their moments to shine. But you always got people that do it way too early. So The Odyssey, obviously, Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey should be in the 100% should be in the look and should be in the should be a part of award season. Digger, Alejandro Inarritu is making his first English language film. I've kind of butchered his name, and that's my apologies on that. But it should be really fascinating. That has Tom Cruise in it. It's supposed to be somewhat of a comedy, so it should be really interesting to see what he does with that. Project Hail Mary is out this weekend. I'm really excited about that one. It should be. I'm curious to see. Heard a lot of good reactions for it. We'll see if they can make some noise. The Social Reckoning. Excuse me, the sequel to The Social Network. That should be interesting. Jeremy Strong playing Mark Zuckerberg. Mikey Madison, Jeremy Allen White, and Bill Burr are all in that one. That's not until until October, excuse me. Let's see. Artificial, Luca Guadagnino's next film. Andrew Garfield, Monica Barbato, Yura Borisov is in that one. There's a lot of other films. There's a film called Josephine with Gemma Chan and Channing Tatum. That should be in the look. Joe Cohen's Jack of Spades, 1880s Gothic mystery starring Josh O'Connor, Frances McDormand. It's been a while. And there's plenty of other interesting films that could get looks. Death of a Salesman. They're doing that into a movie with Jeffrey Wright and Octavia Spencer. That should be very interesting. I'm curious to see how that would do. And they got Corey Hawkins in that one too. So there's tons of films where you look at it and you're going, Disclosure Day. Steven Spielberg is returning. Narnia, The Magician's Nephew. That should be interesting. Toy Story 5. Like, there are plenty of films right now that are listed as possible award season contenders, but we all know not everything comes into fruition, so it shall be very, very interesting to see what happens. And that's why, again, you call it way too early, because it is way too early. So that's all I got today for the Oscars. That's all I got today for Next Big Picture. That's all I got today for the Real Table Podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate y'all for listening, even if it's just a couple people. I love talking movies. We're going to try to get on here again soon. Project Mary and more films. I know the Super Mario Galaxy movie is coming out soon. The Michael Jackson movie is coming out soon. And then we're getting into May. And then The Mandalorian Grogu. Not looking too forward to that, but we're going to see that. So we got a lot of stuff to talk about, but I'm going to try to get on here at least a couple times a month when I can, because life is getting busier. But I'm going to keep making this happen. And I'm also going to keep writing too. I'll post my articles, follow the Real Table Podcast page. Also follow my personal page. I'll post some articles of the things that I'm writing. Appreciate the love. I will talk to y'all real soon. Peace.
Thanks for listening to today's episode. If you're enjoying the deep dives and the conversation around film, be sure to share and follow the podcast. Once again, thanks for coming to the table, and we'll see you next time.